Hello, this is LaVoy Finicum. I told you that I'd give you an update on how things are progressing. And in my last video I told you that there was a meeting scheduled. They'd requested to have a meeting with me, the county supervisor Gary Watson, and the head of Fish and Game, the cattle brand inspector, and the head of the grazing board, Merlin Esplin. I mentioned that I wasn't sure if this was how sincere this was, or if they were wanting to just work something with me, or if it was kind of a setup. And so let me tell you how it went. It was just going to be me and these agency heads in a meeting, and I figured that they might try to come and bear pressure on me. Just before I left, I got a call from Clive and Bundy and says, you know, you ought to call a couple other ranchers to come. And so I did. I'm glad I did. They came and was able to attend there. Clive and his son was able to come up. I'm very glad that they attended. So let me tell you how it turned out. In the meeting, they began to speak, and also I think the hand of Providence was in there. The things that turned out just so happened to be, coincidentally, a lot of our state representatives were there. And let me put some names to these faces, or some names to these people. The head of Fish and Game here is Luke Thompson. County Commissioner, County Supervisor Gary Watson, head of the Grazing Board Merlin Esplin, and the Brand Inspector Raymond Christensen. So those were the ones who were intended to be there. Just happened to be that there's some state representatives there. Very glad that they were there. Very glad that they were there. Regina E. Cobb, House of Representatives for our area, State House of Representatives. Very glad. I didn't get the cards of all the state representatives who were there and officials. Margaret Nyberg, and hope I pronounced that right. Bill Barker, Chief Deputy Treasurer, and we also have other one here. Well, there was a couple other ones, but they all happened to be there. It gave me a great opportunity to teach. I spoke for about an hour. I was able to teach about what grazing rights were, how they were established. These state representatives, they were very appreciative of my explanations and my teachings and the constitutional line upon which I was standing. They were very cordial, asking questions, sincere in those questions. Now, Gary Watson and was very cordial, very friendly. Head of the Fish and Game here, Luke Thompson, very friendly guy. Seems to be a very decent man. Merlin Esplin, decent man, head of the Grazing Board. But I asked each of them, I said, I didn't ask Merlin Esplin, but he works hand in hand with the BLM, head of the Grazing Board. I asked Luke Thompson, did the FBI come to you with the head of law enforcement from the BLM before you come to meet with me? Yes, they did. Hesitated a little bit in answering that. Gary Watson, did they come and meet with you? Well, yes, they did. Of course they did. Okay, so the FBI, head of BLM law enforcement, have come to my state representatives, or not state representatives, but my county representatives, the Fish and Game, and the Grazing Board, and they all come to put pressure on me, to get me to step down, to back off. And this is what they said. They said, Mr. Finicum, you know, very cordial with me, you know, this is not a good time. You know, if you do this, it's going to hurt a lot of people. Gary Watson, Merlin Esplin, if you do this, they'll cancel all our grazing permits out here on the strip. Luke Thompson, if the Sierra Clubs and people get hold of this, if you stand and call these your grazing rights, and if you don't back down, we might lose our ability to hunt here. The federal government might close it down. And I'm looking around, I'm saying, what the heck? Is this the state of Arizona? Or is this just the kingdom of the federal government? And I'm hearing them being afraid of the federal government, what they're going to do. They're going to pull everybody's grazing rights. They call them permits. They're going to pull everybody's grazing permits, and everybody will lose their jobs here. They'll shut down the hunting, and there won't be any hunting here. This isn't America. This isn't what we are. I'm not backing down. Let's grow a backbone. This is exactly what I'm standing up against. This is the state of Arizona. The federal government does not own this, does not control this. Yet here we are afraid that they're going to take everybody's ranches, afraid that they're going to shut down everybody's hunting. No, they're not. This is Arizona. Americans, individual Americans, will stand up and tell them no. But they've got to stand. Instead, they come and say, Mr. Finicum, you got to stop. You can't do this. You know, wait until we get another president. What does another president have to do with this? This is the state of Arizona. This is private grazing rights. President Obama has nothing to do with my grazing rights. You know, if Ben Carson, good man, becomes the next president, he has nothing to do with my grazing rights. You know, and if Ted Cruz or any of the others become president, good for them. But this is Arizona. The federal government does not own and control this land. Yet here we are, state officials, afraid and bowing down to this overreaching, overbearing central government and giving them power by acknowledging that they have the power to pull everybody's grazing rights, have the power to stop the hunting on the land. Well, they may do what they want, but I am not going to back down. They know that they're going to come after me and try to crush me financially and then go after my cows. I promise you this, America, I promise you, I will spend every last dime I have, what little it may be, until every last one of my horses are gone, until every one last of my cows are gone, until I have shed every drop of my blood upon this land. I will not back down. I will not capitulate to this federal government. I will not bow to the pressures as the FBI and the BLM law enforcement goes around and collecting their cooperating agencies to all begin to bear pressure upon me. I will not do it. So help me God, I will not do it. I will die before, and I'll sleep well at night. I'll live as a free man. You don't worry me, federal government. You don't worry me, Special Agent Bean. You don't worry me, head of law enforcement of BLM, Mr. Blakely. And I hope I got your names right. You know, we all only have one life. We spend it upon which we really believe in. You believe in government. You believe in a central power. I believe in the freedom of an individual American. My life may be long or it may be short, but I will spend it on freedom. And maybe we'll get a chance to look each other in the eye. And so be it. Anyway, hope you have a good evening. Catch you later.